up, YouTube? It is Lindsay. I am back with another video, and this time I'm going to be spilling the tea about what it is like to work at American Eagle. Also, if you've seen me before, then hi, and if you haven't seen me, then you should click the subscribe button and join my big happy family that's growing into a big family. It's kind of small right now. Okay, so here's the tea. I worked at American Eagle for, I want to say, 3 months. It was very short-lived, and you're about to find out why. So, as you know, I live in South Florida. We get a lot of tourists, we get a lot of older people, so shops like American Eagle aren't going to be like super popular with the older crowds. Now, I will say that we were the only American Eagle store within I think my old boss said 200 miles, something crazy like that. I honestly didn't believe it. I don't know if it's true or not. I never looked into it. But he said we were the only chain, only one in our chain that was in this part of the state. So, you'd expect a lot of business, you'd expect a lot of visitors, you'd expect a lot of people to be coming in. So, basically how I got the job was I was online, I was on this website called Indeed, and I was just applying to retail. Because personally, I like retail, retail's fun for me, and I like talking and interacting with people all day. So, I apply, and literally probably 30 minutes after I applied, I got a phone call from American Eagle. And I was like, yeah, I'm interested in the job. And, they had me come in for an interview, and then they had me come in for one more interview. So I guess the first one was kind of like a preliminary, and then they interviewed a couple other people, and then they brought me back in. So I obviously aced the second interview, and they took me on. The first day working there was really easy. I got shown the basics. They gave me a little book. I don't have it anymore. If I had it, I'd show y'all, but it was the AEO employee handbook, and it had all of our little rules and all the things we had to do to sell and promote and basically boost up our items and get rid of our inventory that we had in the store. So the first day I worked there was really cool. Didn't have any problems with coworkers, didn't have any issues with my boss, who we're gonna call T. We'll call my boss T. And, we had a meeting the first day I worked there. And so my boss T, he had us all gathering on the selling floor after the store closed, and he was basically like, okay, we're starting this new program, blah, 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 and there was me and 2 other brand new employees. I mean, brand new. We were all just starting that day. So, we didn't really know much. Like I said, we'd learned the basics. And it was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't have any issues to begin with. Like I said, liked my boss, liked my coworkers. So in the meeting, they call on none other but the new people. And I had no idea what I was talking about, okay? They asked me, some certain, basic questions that you would ask in, an interview, you're trying to sell me these pair of jeans, how you gonna do it? And of course, I'm just I'd tell them I own them and that they're the most comfortable thing in the world. And they liked that. And basically throughout my entire career in that store, I was always telling people, oh, I own this. It's the best thing in the world. It's so comfortable I can sleep in it. And I've never worn a piece of American Eagle clothing in my life, but it got my sales up. So for the first month, everything was great. I was happy. I was, doing good. I was making my sales goals. I was interacting with customers. I was learning the store front to back. And then one day I was in the dressing room, and we have headsets. You have little headsets, they go over your ear, there's a little earbud that goes here, and then it winds down to a walkie-talkie. And I'd had my headset in, and it wasn't working. I couldn't hear what people were saying to me, but they could hear what I was saying. And evidently, they had called me to the register to help somebody, but I hadn't heard it because my headset was broken. And I had alerted, my supervisor, the guy who was working, it wasn't my manager, it was my assistant manager, that my headset was not working. I could not hear what they were saying on the other side. And he was like, oh, it's fine, it's not a big deal, if we need you, we'll just come find you. Because, American Eagle is not a big store. In most cases. The one I was in wasn't a big store. Well, I hadn't been able to hear them, and I got in trouble for not responding to, basically orders. I was not able to hear them, and therefore I got in trouble. And, even when I explained it, he was like, well, you should have switched headsets. And, in my mind, I'm like, you told me you'd just come find me, but okay. So, I guess that's kind of where the shadiness started. I don't want to say anybody in the store was, particularly shady. Some of the things that I had to do, though, weren't, in my particular, sales associate job description that was in my handbook. There were a couple times I got thrown in the back to do, stock. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was doing it alone the first time I ever did it. They explained it to me in, a 5-second, rant, and then left me in the back to do stock by myself. So, it started to get, a little weird because they would put me on positions I was not used to doing. And then, towards the middle of my time working there was when Hurricane Irma hit. Thank God that it kind of missed my area of the state. We just got some really rough wind and rain and very minimal damage. Our beaches got torn up, though. And I remember going in, my boss was a New Yorker, so he wasn't, completely familiar with hurricanes, and, they were calling for Irma to be, a Cat 5, and it was going to kill everybody, and there was going to be nothing left of Florida. So, I'd gone in, and I said, look, dude, I can't work the week the hurricane's supposed to be in town, because me and my family are getting our cats and we are evacuating. And so he was like, oh, I don't think it's going to be that bad, just stay. And I'm like, I can't, no, my family's evacuating, I'm not going to stay here by myself. And so he was like, well, I don't think it's going to be that serious. And I was like, T, have you ever been through a Florida hurricane on the coast? Now, given this was my first one, but I lived in Jacksonville when I was younger. My dad's lived here since I was younger, and, I've seen what these things can do. So I was like, dude, I'm getting the heck out. Okay, so I tell him, I'm like, you can leave me scheduled, but I'm not coming in. And I was really polite about it, too. I didn't say it that way. I was like, look, you can leave me on the schedule, but I'm not going to be able to come in because I'm not going to be in town because I'm going to be evacuating. So we did that. We actually ended up not evacuating because the first day of the storm was really wimpy. And, even when we were in, the eye, the eye, we were never in the eye itself, but when the worst part of it hit, it wasn't horrible. Our fence got torn up a little bit. We had a couple tree limbs fall, but nothing serious really happened, thank God for that. I'm sorry to all the Irma victims who were affected. I know how hard that must have been. I was terrified something was going to happen to me. And I just hope that if it did affect you, that you're healing and you're recovering well. But anyways, my dad, when I came back to work, when I started working there again, it was the beginning of October, and this was when I was getting ready to quit. After I had taken off for Irma, and a couple weeks before that, I had been getting no shifts. I mean, like, I know that normally if you're not making your numbers, they cut shifts, but I was making my numbers. So, they were starting to cut shifts. I was getting like one shift every 2 weeks. I remember I got a $30 paycheck and I like cried. Because $30 is a tank of gas for me. And who can live off of, I mean, I'm sure you could live off of $30 if you spent it really wisely. But $30 is a tank of gas for me. So, I got fed up with that eventually. And then I had gotten a second job working at a Halloween store probably a week before I quit. But the week before I quit was when things got really shady. So, my boss quit. T quit. No one knows why. No one has ever said why. And to be honest, I didn't like my assistant manager. He was kind of cocky, and he was, I know I sound like a complete bitch right now, but he was just very like, if he didn't do it, it wasn't done right. Okay, and that wasn't just me, that was for anybody in the store. If he didn't do it, it was not good enough for him. Or if I did something, or another girl in the store did something, he would go through and like redo all of it. So that was a big pain in the ass. There were a lot of different rules we had for when we set things up. So on the floor, it's separated into rooms. So room 1, room 2, room 3, and then the dressing room, which they call the selling room. And someone has to be in there at all times, and we have to write their names on whiteboards when they, do their thing in there and change. And, when they come out, we're supposed to be like, wow, that looks amazing, and just kind of try to get them to buy the clothes, which I was good at. I wasn't even saying it to be fake. I mean, if someone looked bad in something, I'd be like, maybe try this color, you know what I mean? Just because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. It's not my job to hurt your feelings. It was my job to, make you feel confident and make you want the clothes you were wearing. So, I'd be like, how about, this same, shirt in a different color or a different size or a different pattern, whatever. And usually that worked. I remember we had to, when we sat jeans out, there would always be like a stack of jeans. You had to fold them under and then fold like the ankle part under the knee part. And then the top you'd have to unbutton it, unzip it, and then fold the button part over. Because they said it looked more inviting. I kind of get that, but I think it's a little bit weird. And then, I learned how to fold shirts the way they do in those, the chain stores. The store fold is what I call it. And I got used to it. I wasn't great at it. I've never been great at folding clothes. But I got better at it. But I think the day I quit, I had been telling my dad I was going to quit for like 3 days. And he was like, no. And I was like, Dad, I have 2 jobs. Like, it's not like I'm going to be unemployed. So that's exactly what I did. I walked in on a day I was supposed to work later that day. And I walked in and I was like, hey, I'm not going to be able to work my shift today. And the assistant manager was like, well, why not? And I was like, things have come up and I've realized that this job just isn't for me. I explained to him, I was like, I'm not getting any shifts, I'm not making any money, and I just feel like I'm at a dead end with this job. And I said, I had asked for extra shifts. I told him, I said I'd asked for shifts, they weren't given. I've talked to some of the other people that work here, they're not getting their shifts cut the way I am, and I just, don't think this is a good fit for me. So I handed him my, my little badge thing with my name on it, and I was like, is there any position that you could work me where I'd have steady hours? And he was like, you can work stock in the back. And I hate stock, but it's like a $2 raise if you do stocks, because you only come in like once every 3 weeks, and it's for like 8 hours. And it's like a couple days. So I was like, okay, well, give me a call if you decide you want me to work that, because I'll definitely be able to and I'll want to. And they never called me. I still go in there sometimes because I still work in the mall. And like, pray to God they don't see me. But I mean, that's basically my time working at American Eagle. Here's some highlights that I forgot to mention. So there were a couple girls there that had been working there for a while. I mean, like a year, 2 years, 8 months, they had been there the longest. And I thought it was cool. I was like, wow, you really like your job here. That's awesome. Can you show me the ropes? And I swear to God, every time the one girl would like see me, like look at me, she'd be like, like giving me the stink eye, kind of like looking at me funny. It was weird. I mean, I don't know if she had a problem with me, if she just had RBF, because I have RBF. I don't know. And then there was the time that I had friends come in, and I got in trouble because my friends came in the store. I didn't even know they were coming. And they were like, do you know them? And I was like, yeah, but I didn't know they were coming, and, I knew the rules. We're not allowed to sell to friends or family because we could give them our discount potentially. So, I was like, yeah, I didn't know they were coming. I don't plan on selling to them. I was just saying hi. And she was like, oh, this looks like I should tell T because I don't know if that's even allowed. And I'm like, he said it's fine as long as we don't spend 20 minutes like conversating and we don't sell them things. And she was like, I just don't think it's okay. So I don't know if she ever told on me for that or not. I never got in trouble, so obviously it wasn't a problem. And then I had this one male coworker. He was the only guy who worked in the store besides my 2 managers. He still works there, actually. I see him from time to time when I go in. I don't say hi or anything, but like he's still there. Sorry, I'm tired. He was like overly friendly. And I know that sounds bad because, what is overly friendly? But, he was just like super cheery and super chipper every single day, and I never understood how, because within 3 weeks of being at that job, I hated my life. Like, I didn't hate the job. I hated the type of people that would come into the store, and I love working with people. I love talking to people. It's awesome, but the type of people that we had come in the store, it drove me up a wall. Okay, I'm a pretty nice, patient person. I have 7 younger siblings who I'm used to asking me 50 questions a day. But I would have people come in and ask me, I know they say there's no dumb questions, but there's dumb questions. The dumbest questions. Like, they get a hold of like a t-shirt or something, and they'd be like, ma'am, I'd walk over, I'd be like, yeah, what's up, how can I help you? And I shit you not, like, no BS, they'd be like, can you tell me if there's any other stores I can get a shirt like this at? I'd be like, it's just a t-shirt, pretty much any department store, and they'd be like, oh no, but I want one that's soft like this. I'm like, well, that's part of our specialty soft and sexy line, so you're gonna have to get it here if you really, really want that particular shirt. And they would get so mad, like so mad, and I'd have to explain to them, I don't know if there's any other places that make soft shirts like that. I'm sure there are, but the ones that we have here are the ones that we sell, and I don't look for them anywhere else. She was like, I'd have people come in, they tried to spend like 50-year-old coupons. It had a coupon that expired in like January of that year, and it would be October. That's not how it works, okay? Anyways, that was my experience working at American Eagle. If you want to see more about my crazy job experiences, you can click subscribe and leave a comment down below in that little box. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.